It's the Davey Mac Sports Program. And here's your host, Dave McDonald.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris Pepper, Stanley. Davey Mac Sports Program on a June 2011, talking to you about the sports. My name is Davey Mac, a.k.a. the Eastside Dave McDonald, a.k.a. the Sports Master, ladies and gentlemen. With me as always, Chris Pepper Stanley. Oh, thank you. The microphones, the headphones, the wires, the this, the that, the Heinekens this week. Mr. Sean O. Thank you. The trendy hats, the trendy shirts, the trendy facial stubble. Roy! Hey, Roy. Yeah. Roy! And of course, Roy! Yeah. Okay, enough. This is no clap fest. This isn't the, no offense, Roy.
Yeah, Roy.
This isn't the
Come on, Roy.
Mac Sports Program.
Calm down,
it's
Roy.
The Davey Mac Sports Program.
Yeah, Roy.
It's not East Side Roy McDonald. It's East Side Dave McDonald. That's me, and here we go. Yes, sir. Lots of sports. Lots of things to cover. But nothing more important than the NBA Finals. And as much as Roy got such a gigantic round of applause,
he sure
quite
did.
surprising. Nearly as surprising, I would say, as the Mavs winning the series. As much as people laud Roy, I know, it's the Roy Show. We probably should change the name.
All Roy, all the time.
People need to understand this. When the Davey Mac says, put it in the bank, you take your feeble little earnings,
Ouch.
the little maggots that you are, the nickel and dimers walking to your little jobs. I'm looking at Sean O and Roy, who have to pay, whatever, just to have a Times Square studio. And the rest of you people who owned your own recording studios, yeah, you people, that's what I'm talking about. You should have taken that money, you should have put it in the bank, taken it out of the bank, and then put it in the casinos, taking that money, then put it back in the bank, and maybe back in the casinos, bet it, and then put that money back into the bank. That's my point. What I'm trying to say is, when Davey Mac gives you a sports tip, you don't just fart in the wind and say, look at Davey Mac, look at him, he doesn't have his pants on again. What you do say is this. You say, okay, I'm going to listen to the Dave man. And that's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. And I'm telling you something else. The Mavericks, they went there. They got to the finals. They showed who's the boss. Davey Mac predicted it. He said this will be the Mavs in 6. And what happened? Mavs in 6!
They did it.
Wow. Why is it? How about if Roy says Mavs in 6? Go ahead, Roy.
Mavs in 6.
Oh, yeah, Roy did it. This is ridiculous.
Way to go, Roy.
This is ridiculous. Roy's supposed to be the quiet one, the guy behind the camera, the guy with the flip cam.
Roy's the man. Dave
Roy
Mac.
did not make the prediction. The Dave man did.
Last time I heard it was all Roy.
It wasn't Roy.
Roy saved my life once.
No, he didn't.
Did.
Just taking the beer out of your hand before you pass out is hardly saving your life. I want to also
It's thoughtful, though.
bring that up. Now, listen. In all honesty, I had a special feeling about the Dallas Mavericks at one point in the NBA postseason. And it was when they collapsed against the Portland Trail Blazers. I believe it was Game 4. And first round series, of course. And it was a total collapse. They're up by 20 points, fourth quarter, or second half at least. Trailblazers come back. You're thinking, okay, this is typical Mavs. This is the one and done team. And they lose the game. They lost the game. But then in Game 5, they managed to win it. and then win Game 6, and then from there, and of course we remember they sweep the Lakers.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that almost seems like it was years ago. When everyone's talking about, what a kind of an upset this is that they beat the Heat. They took down the champs. They put them over their laps and they spanked their bottoms. And Pau Gasol, that's a 7-foot bottom right there. Or it's a bottom on a 7-footer. I can't say his bottom would be 7 feet.
Nothing
Because
wrong with
that would make him like at least 28 feet tall.
Easily.
And then if he just doesn't dominate the paint with
More
that.
like probably like 60 feet tall.
Oh, no. If
What
you
is
have a
that?
7-foot bottom, your bottom, I would say, is probably 1 foot in length? No?
I guess. I don't.
Do we have a ruler anywhere? I would say a person's bottom is, say, 1 foot.
Yeah, all right, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's average person is what, 6 feet, right? So it'd be
6
so there's 6 bottoms in a person. So
Whoa.
that would be
If it was
7 times 6.
6 is
which is
63.
80
Once-
is 7.
63.
60.
So there you go. I was
Eight.
right.
So Roy was right again. Roy!
Wait, what? No, I
Yeah,
said
yeah, how does it feel? How does it feel to get the Roy thievery? So think
That's
about
very
that,
good.
folks. With 7 bottoms, Pau Gasol would be about 63 feet tall. Okay, and actually no, because he is 7 feet, so it would be 7 times 7. So it would be 7 times 7
40.
is.
49.
Wait, it was we
Wait,
we
so-
had
49.
yeah 7 times 6 is 42.
Oh.
So you were off. 7 times 7 is 40.
Thanks, Roy.
It would be
49.
49 feet. He would be 49 feet tall.
All right.
Well, Roy
That's
was-
the bottom line.
Now we figured it out.
Okay, but wait, oh! Then they get past the Lakers. They sweep them. Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, everyone, and I'm telling you, everyone was choosing the Thunder. Not Davey Mack. Davey Mack said, you know what? I got a little thing with these Mavericks this year.
You got
I
a
have
feeling.
a little thing.
You
I
got a
feeling.
feeling.
I have something. Now, not just the Nowitzki, but it was also the Jason Kidd, who was on my team, the New Jersey Nets, for a bunch of years. Got us to back-to-back NBA Finals, where they only lost to the 2 best teams of the 2000s, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and then the Duncan, Ginobili, Tony Parker Spurs. Those 2 teams were the best teams of the 2000s. Those are the 2 teams the Nets lost the NBA Finals to. Can't fault them for that. So I always loved Jason Kidd, and as the Nets started to crumble and it was a bad scene, he said, listen, come on, will you trade me? I don't have any hard feelings. It wasn't an ugly separation. There have been way worse where a player demands to be traded, this and that. In all honesty, we were kind of helping Jason Kidd out, and we got helped out too because the Nets got Devin Harris, who's a good player, and younger, and could help the Nets for a while. So, it was a nice deal for both, and I liked seeing Jason Kidd. I liked even seeing Jason Terry, Jet win. But it brings me to a point.
Oh, what's that?
Everyone was rooting for the Mavericks, right?
Yeah.
Now let's talk some real turkey here.
All right.
They were rooting for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they were playing the Heat. They didn't want LeBron
Okay.
to win a championship.
I thought you were going to say that.
Well, that's why.
So because
that's why you're a sports master.
Everyone hated the Heat, right?
yeah.
They wanted the Mavericks. Okay, is that's your
Yes,
premise?
that's the premise.
Here's
yeah.
my premise. Is this a little bit of a race issue?
Oh boy.
Well, let's talk about it because I watched Pardon the Interruption and all these shows around the horn, all the hard-hitting shows. Nobody talked about this. I heard that fatso Mike Francesa for the next 8 hours. He just talked about Diet Cokes and his favorite Italian restaurant he and Ro like to go out to.
No, which one's that?
Mad Dog, for the last week and a half, he's been hopped up on so much amphetamines, I can barely understand him, okay? Someone needs some intervention with that guy. Davey Mack's going to bring this point up. If it was, say, the Lakers versus the Heat, would people still have been as into hating the Heat, but more than that, loving the Lakers the way they were loving the Mavericks? Talk to me.
Yes. They were still. It's so the anti-LeBron thing is just so big. That's all
You-
people care
Yeah.
about.
So you really think it's so big
Yeah.
that people would root for Kobe
Oh,
the
yeah.
same way
yeah, without a
that
doubt.
they were rooting for Dirk? You
Without
didn't think
a
that
doubt.
there was a thing of, maybe I hate to say it.
All right,
I'm
say
not,
it.
I'm not
Say
saying,
it.
I'm not
Oh.
saying I feel this
Come
way
on.
because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, is it an issue that Americans, especially in the Midwest, see the big white guy and say, "I got."
No.
I'm just laying it out there.
No,
I'm
it's
laying
insane.
it as a question. Okay, so you say no.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm hoping
right.
that's the case.
Good.
I just thought no one liked Florida.
Oh, listen. Look at me. I'd burn in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
I'd burn in Maine.
I know.
I'm never stepping foot in Florida.
See? So that's
Never,
why-
unless you give me a big bubble. Like I'm a bubble boy.
All
It'll have
right.
to be a dark bubble, though.
Yeah, a dark bubble.
Tints.
Jeez, a big dark bubble. Now, what if...
Boy.
Let's keep playing the scenario. What if it was the Thunder? Would everyone be so much into, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, we want them?
You could have thrown anyone up against the Heat.
Anyone against the Heat.
Anyone.
Against the Heat. Anyone.
Yeah. Anyone. All that mattered was LeBron. They even after he lost, they were just kept on replaying his press conference. Not the decision when he was up on the stage with Bosch and Wade saying they're
no.
going to get eight championships or
That
whatever.
ridiculous WWE Raw is War moment.
It was crazy. Just watch the entire set.
I've never seen a sports league come closer to professional wrestling than before the season started. They had the three of those nitwits on a stage in Miami with explosions, pyrotechnics, strobe lights, and steam. And LeBron, of course, did the infamous, we're not going to win 1 or 3 championships or 5. Is that it? You have it?
Yeah.
We're going to win this? Okay, let's hear it.
In championships, not 1, championships.
Not 2.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Not any.
0!
And when I say that,
We're going to lose them all.
and when I say that, I really believe it. I'm not
I
just up
believe
here
it.
blowing smoke and
I'm
none
a
of these
freak.
fans, because that's not what I'm about. I'm about business, and
Okay.
we believe
All right,
we can win
businessman.
multiple championships.
The business guy.
Oh, here's just
The business.
steam just flying out of the crowd and then just giving people pounds.
You see, though, where you have to look at LeBron and say maybe he has a little bit of a mental illness going on because
Like Down syndrome?
No, I'm not going to say Down syndrome, but when you say you're going to win,
I think Chris Bosh is autistic.
No, he's not. When you say you're going to win 8 championships in a row, do you know how crazy you sound?
Yeah, it's insane.
And the thing is, I truly don't believe that he was saying that to get the fans pumped up or even to get himself pumped
No,
up.
he thinks. He
thought,
believes it.
Yeah, I think he thought, you know what, we're going to win 8. First of all, Dwayne Wade is not exactly, 22 years old.
No.
LeBron forgets that Dwayne Wade
When
is
did Wade win the other
2006.
Yeah, it's a while ago
Dwayne
now.
Wade is at least 29, and I would surmise to say he's closing in on 30 because LeBron, we know for a fact, is 26. And LeBron came directly out of high school. See, LeBron and Dwayne Wade were actually rookies the same year, but Dwayne Wade stayed all 4 years of college at Wake Forest. LeBron came directly out of high school. Thus, I would say Dwayne Wade is 4 years older.
He's 29.
29, and then he'll be 30. So yeah, so that is my point. So even if had they won this year, they'd have to win 7 in a row. Dwayne Wade would be 37 years old. It's a crazy statement.
Well,
I mean, it's really a statement. It's like that's you know what LeBron is at this point. He is Rupert Pupkin from King of Comedy.
Oh God.
Who just lets himself into Jerry Lewis's house thinking that he's friends and has all these crazy fantasies that he feels the lines of sanity and insanity are slowly getting blurred in LeBron's life. And then, please! Mom, I'm trying to record here! That actually could be called the Davey Mack story. Except I did it when I was like 12 or 13. Let me do
Sure you
it.
did.
And 25.
that's more like it.
Okay, 30.
I'm sad.
So that's the first thing with LeBron. Then there's the infamous post-game press conference remarks where we don't even need the clip, just to summate it, I suppose is the word.
Ew.
He said, listen, everyone who hates on me, fine, but, now you're going to have to go back to your little regular lives, and I can still live the way I want to live and do what I want to do.
On piles of money.
You basically...
Scores of
basically
Horse
like
women.
Ted DiBiase
Yeah.
just being like, you know what, you tiny insects, you parasites, go back to your 9 to 5. Garbage men, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, pick up that garbage. I will personally put garbage cans filled with poo outside for you to collect in my golden garbage cans, because LeBron is just, he has made more money than everyone else, including the Dave man. I know. Big surprise. Yeah, that's him. That's LeBron laughing. And he has a theme song. And he says, you know what? Here's my little friend Virgil. And Virgil's Dwayne Wade in this scenario.
Oh, God.
And we're going to tag team the hell out of you. And then we're going to put stuff money in your mouth. I believe that was DiBiase's
Yeah,
move.
that was at the end of the match. He beat up a jobber and then just shoved $100 bills in his mouth.
I would wrestle him right now.
That's not bad.
I'll take a beating, whatever.
You're going to shove $100 in my
He
mouth.
just puts you in a sleeper hole. He puts you to
Fine.
sleep, and you wake up with money in your mouth.
Give it to me.
That doesn't seem fair.
Let's see, you have to fight either him or Jake Roberts, where you wake up and you've been bitten to death by a boa constrictor. That didn't seem fair.
It's easy, actually.
You have two jobbers in the locker room being like, oh man, you got to fight DiBiase? Yeah, who'd you get to fight? Yeah, Jake Roberts.
Earthquake.
I get poisoned again. Do you have the snake juice? So, it's just such an arrogant thing. And then what happens is, this happens with LeBron, though, all the time. He does a tweet or he says something, and then it's the next day, apology, retraction, that's the thing that I'm sick of. It's the Watergate mentality with LeBron, who, you just did the scandal. Guess what? You're officially the villain, dude. You're never going to escape
And he
that.
keeps
Stick
doing
to
it. He keeps doing it.
But
He
here's
doesn't
the
stop.
Point. But here's the point. Stick to it. You didn't see DiBiase say, you know what? I'm sorry for putting those $100 bills in your mouth. Can you give them back to me?
Here you go,
I have
Virgil.
some groceries to buy. No, he let the guy keep the money. He embraced being a bad guy. LeBron can't embrace it. So then the next day, he goes, oh, boy, that came off poorly.
Wow, they didn't get what I was saying, did they?
Basically, I just called everyone who's not a multimillionaire a piece of garbage.
Scum.
Who's not even worthy to turn on the TV to watch me play basketball. Basically, only Donald Trump and Bill Gates would be in the arena if LeBron had his druthers. Mm-hmm. LeBron does not care or want the regular fan. And I think the problem is the regular fan can sense that and is a little bit more intuitive than LeBron realizes. And they say, this guy is a phony. He never really was this Ohio hometown boy. He got out of there the first chance he got. That's A. And then B, he says all this stuff. Then he apologizes. Then he says it again a week later.
Yeah.
He just keeps saying it and then keeps apologizing. Again, that's what crazy people do. Crazy people don't learn from their mistakes. They just keep making them over and over again. Davey Max crashed his car 15 times.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, you're in my camp. That's the point here, LeBron. I've embraced it. You need to as well. That's the point. And so he goes on today and he says, you know what, that came off bad. I'm not better than anyone. I'm just, I like the fans. And the whole thing is so contrived because that it's the office of the NBA. You know that's probably David Stern or someone who called him and said, you got to go out in front of microphones and say all this stuff. Which leads me to another LeBron point.
Oh.
Did anybody, and I mean anybody, notice in Dallas, in Game 5, after Dallas won that pivotal Game 5, and by the way,
I noticed that.
this series was over. You noticed the Game 5? I'm happy about that. And we'll get to your situation later when I asked for help today because I've had a lot on my mind and I could not have a ton of show prep. I said to Shauno, please give me help me to Shauno and Pepper. Pepper gave me zilch. Shauno gave me 3 bowling stories.
Well,
I thank the both of you.
Norm Duke looks a lot like Martin
Okay,
Short.
we're not talking about
I'm
it
just
now.
saying.
We'll do it later.
Fine.
Norm Duke.
So here's the point. Is that after Game 5, you have LeBron and Dwayne Wade. They're sitting there at the podium, okay? And it's a post-game press conference. I mean, I don't know. I've watched a zillion post-game press conferences from Peyton Manning and Tom Brady to Jeter to Tiger Woods and Mickelson to
Norm
John McEnroe. Please, with the Norm Duke already before I honestly am going to slam that bottle over your head. Okay. So you have all these press conferences. I've never seen this in my life. Now, I'm going to say this on his behalf. One of my NBA insiders. Yeah, that's right, Roy. You're not the only one with NBA insiders. I know. You get to party with Danny Lanois all the time.
Constantly.
It's just you and Daniel Lanois talking about Octoon Baby for the millionth time.
Partying.
We get it. The guy's a fly. But anyway, one of my NBA insiders says that this was not entirely uncommon, but what I would say is this. If it's not entirely uncommon, it's something that sure is not run-of-the-mill routine. That NBA insider agreed with me, and it's this. After the game, in the post-game press conference, LeBron D-Wade, who apparently, like peanut butter and jelly, could never be separate.
No, it's creepy as hell.
That was infuriating to me. You're not a 1950s comedy duo.
They're best friends, Dave.
You're not Martin Lewis, where you can actually do separate press conferences.
I just hate them.
So anyway, they're sitting there in the press conference, and reporters are asking them questions. You know, when someone asks you a question in a press conference, you should look at them, you give them an answer, you speak your mind, right? I noticed that LeBron was looking down. He was sitting on the right. He was looking down like towards his left while he was talking. And I'm like, this is really weird. LeBron's not making eye contact with the press. Then when they would ask Dwayne Wade something, Wade, who's sitting next to LeBron, would also be looking down.
To his right.
Yeah, to his right. And they were both looking down to what seemed like the same direction.
Crotches.
It could have been.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, no.
But I looked, and I'm like, this feels odd. It doesn't feel like it's coming from their mouths. And it was a very quick clip, but as they got up, you could see a piece of paper was sitting on the desk with basically what was supposed to be an impromptu press conference. Someone from the Miami Heat had typed it up. It's why their press conference was delayed 30 minutes. Okay, we had to wait till 1:15 in the morning when the game was over at like 12:30 or even earlier. We had to wait forever for these guys to come out. Someone in the Miami Heat was typing this up, telling them, okay, they're going to ask you questions about do you regret Nowitzki maybe coughing, and then they'll have a prepared statement. Okay, when they ask you a question of can you get it done, can you come back from 2 games to down 2 games? I mean, they'll have the answer done. And it was infuriating because everyone was waiting for this press conference. And these guys still,
they can't
in this
be trusted.
one moment, they couldn't be trusted.
Yeah.
They couldn't be real in
They're
this
idiots.
one moment. They could not be real. You looked at Nowitzki. He was down 2-1. I watched his press conference. The guy sat there. He looked like he was going to die.
Yeah, he was looking like crap.
But he sat there. He looked at. He held the microphone. He sat back in his chair.
And
he
answered
never looked at the
questions.
ground, and he answered questions perfectly. Okay, and these guys couldn't even come up. They couldn't even for once just take off the shell, be real, and talk.
No, why?
to us.
Because when they're real, things come out like what LeBron said at the end of the show. They're dirtbags.
I know.
They're just bad people.
and I
They're guys with too much money, with too much talent.
Well, I have to agree with you on that. And the other point is this, that no one, now again, my NBA source said this happens from time to time. But you know what? It shouldn't happen at that stage. There are times where, you can lose in the regular season. Some guy has like a little statement prepared for you. I don't care about that. But after this game 5, where people want to hear you spill out your heart, you got to actually man up and look people in the eye and speak from the top of your head.
They can't.
And for no one in the media, not ESPN, of course, because God forbid they reveal any secrets, because, of course, it was played on ABC, so they feel like they have everything to lose. If they expose anyone, they can never get out. And then they'll pretend to be getting on LeBron's case, but they never do. Because what they do is they say, Charles Barkley, TNT analyst says LeBron's a choke artist. So that's ESPN's way of thinking that, okay, we're siding up with America here, but it's a cop-out. And TNT, no one should, NBA TV, none of you. Not one single analyst. No one on radio, no one in the newspapers, no one in the magazines said, boy, that was weak. That LeBron and Dwayne Wade on this press conference couldn't speak from their hearts. And maybe it does happen where someone from the Heat, right, or someone from your organization gives you a piece of paper, and maybe sometimes it's got numbers and facts on it, but you know what? Not full paragraphs typed out for these guys to just regurgitate at us. I thought that was the most offensive thing. I was enraged.
Good. You should have been.
Enraged!
Get pissed.
And I am pissed!
Yeah, all right. Good.
Pissed all day!
Yeah. Get it out.
I am furious!
All right, we're gonna
I am really mad!
I'm going to shoot us to break this week.
I am sweating! My car air conditioner wasn't working. Lots of other BS. And some guy gives me an email with 8 bowling stories on it.
3.
This guy's supposed to be a part of the show.
3.
Listen to Warren.
No.
This is gonna help. Thanks a lot for playing it dead, guys.
How about this? No rings for the Mavs. Mark Cuban's not doing rings.
Well, we'll talk maybe about that later.
Maybe. We get those bowling stories to cover.
I don't know what we're gonna do in the second half, folks.
It's a party.
But we might party. I seriously might grab 4 Heinekens and drive home drunk.
Roy knows a lot about Freeman McNeil, so we can ask him about that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. We'll ask Roy about freaking McNeil. A jet from the 1980s.
It's relevant.
All right, listen. It's the Davey Mac Sports Program. Eastside Dave McDonald, a.k.a. Davey Mac. Chris Pepper Stanley.
Hey.
Sean O.
Sean O.
Roy. You best be keeping it here, folks.
It's hard to find a girl with a heart of gold when you're living in a 4-letter world. But if she won't love me, then her sister will. She's gonna say one thing and mean another's will. And she can't seem to make up her mind when she hears about my dirty life and times. I was taught a month ago to bide my time and take it slow. But then I learned just yesterday to rush and never waste the day. Now I'm convinced the whole day long that all I learn is always wrong. And things are true that I forget, but no one taught that to me yet.
Davey Mac Sports Program, Eastside Dave McDonald, a.k.a. Davey Mac, Chris Pepper Stanley, Sean O, Roy. Took a long time to get to that.
This is a good song.
That's what happened when we let Pepper choose. I said, bring us back with the fish song,
This is good
because I
shit.
saw
This is good
Fish
stuff.
last Friday.
Yeah.
I was having a jam session.
How was that? What was the show at again?
Oh, it was in America's Jewel, Camden, New Jersey.
Not a lot of campgrounds around there.
It's a nice show. No, it's all parking lot. There's nothing. Yeah, I mean, I saw some people walking around with tents, but I couldn't imagine where they were going to camp out.
Probably crashing in people's
With a tent?
possibly.
Okay. Boy, these people. And I went with, I don't know if you saw the shirt. Did you see any of the photos?
I saw some of the photos, yeah.
So I wanted to fit in because it was my first Fish concert.
This is the first time you saw him live?
I had seen Trey Anastasio solo, but I hadn't seen Fish. So I got a shirt that said, "Let's blow this joint," and on the picture of it was a marijuana cigarette.
Nice. Oh, good one.
So it's like a double entendre.
You will fit in.
Yeah, it was like a pun, if you will. See?
I'm with you.
It was, just one of those shirts I bought at the extravagant store called Spencer's Gifts.
Nice.
And
should pick up some Fish shirts in the parking lot.
Oh, I didn't want any of that.
And some ecstasy.
No.
Was the shirt also tie-dye?
No, it was just a black shirt.
all right.
I was just there. I like to keep a nice, clean, simple look sometimes.
Get some glass.
They played for a long time, though.
Yeah, I know. I told you that before you got there.
Wow.
3-4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, they had to actually have a halftime.
Yeah, the set break.
A set break.
Hey, everybody hang out. You calm down.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
It just
They come back on and jam it.
I was saying, I signed up for what I thought was going to be 3 hours. They went for 4 hours and 15 minutes.
That's right, baby.
Oh,
you get what you paid for.
gosh.
You get what you paid for.
98. I don't recall.
What did they close with?
Not sure either.
Awesome.
Yeah. It just was like a lot of guitar solos.
Yeah.
I think every song is called extended guitar solo.
No, they have different names for their songs. But that includes songs.
And then they started to dance around, him and the bassist.
Yeah, Mike Gordon.
Right. As if they were, the Funk Brothers or something.
They get into it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Trey sobered up.
All right.
far as I know.
Whatever. The little guy, John Fishman, was wearing his little dress or whatever.
She was.
It's adorable.
What's that all about? He's been wearing a dress as the drummer?
Since the late 80s.
Why?
It's very,
I don't know.
Very freeing.
What's the reason?
It's nice.
Comfortable.
A lot of air.
Comfortable. You can wear a tank top and a pair of shorts.
He likes to dress, Dave. Lay off.
And then the other guy, the guy who is like nobody knows. He's the George Harrison of the group. Who's that guy on the keyboards?
I forgot his name.
Paige McConnell.
Paige McConnell, yeah.
See,
that's
even
it.
I knew that.
Wow, I look like
I think I'm more fishy than you.
Ew.
I am
right
the fish
now,
man.
you are. Right now. I haven't been to a show in a while.
Well, I am the fish master. I know. You could have.
Sportsmaster.
You could have done a show.
Slash.
if I go to a fish show, it's not pretty. I would have been at your house.
That would have been great with me.
No, it wouldn't have been because I would have been on a lot of drugs.
Oh, yeah. Like, you would have scared the Davey man.
You have
We would've-
children there, don't you?
we
I
would've-
wouldn't have felt comfortable.
You're not going to eat. They're sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning. Believe it or not.
What if we woke them up?
Yeah, not when Pepper gets there.
No,
No, sleeping.
We're not going to wake them up and start passing them around like volleyballs. They're going to stay asleep. Trust me.
All right.
Yeah, I tend to make noise, believe it or not, myself. I don't think Pepper would. Pepper doesn't,
Pepper, you want
do
to
a
shake?
lot of talking, actually, when he gets in one of his moods. He doesn't. That's just Pepper's
Well,
stick.
I would have been candy flipping, so who knows what.
I don't know what that is, so that's why we're going to move on to the sports.
I do.
Okay, we're back into the sports now.
Thank you.
Now, we are going to move on from the NBA Finals, but we have to cover a couple things. First of all, Mark Cuban says the thing is he's not going to get rings.
No.
Now, you were saying that the word is bracelets, or is that just a guess?
That's one of the things that it's bouncing around is he'll give them bracelets.
a bracelet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a Tiffany bracelet, a girl gets for her 16th birthday.
Here's one of the things. If you want to get me a bracelet, that's fine. That's okay.
charm
But
bracelet.
get me the ring too, please. Don't be ridiculous with this. That's
He's-
all we want
He's
is a ring.
adamant on not having the ring. He said it's old school. He doesn't want anything to do with it.
You know what? That's fine. Get a gold chain. Give me a car that says
Pandora.
champions. Get whatever.
Nice.
I don't care. But I also, in addition to that, take out the billionaire money and give me some rings here, for crying out loud. Okay? I know you have to do the Shark Tank all the time,
Constantly.
but let's think for a second. So, but Mark Cuban, he's been relatively classy. Can you believe that?
Yeah, throughout the entire thing.
I mean, forget about not just even giving
He learned
bulletin
his
board
lesson.
material. Yeah, he did, because he not only abstained from giving bulletin board material to the Heat, but if you noticed, when the Mavericks won the championship, he brought out the original owner, like some little old guy in a cowboy hat, and he let the guy.
Appropriate.
He let the guy hold the trophy before he did.
That's nice.
No other owner would actually have done that. Believe it or not,
Classy.
No one would have.
No, it seriously is a classy
That
move,
was
yeah.
actually surprisingly class. So it's just so crazy what a year in sports can do. That this time last year, LeBron, maybe, he loses to the Celtics as a Cleveland Cav, but we're still saying, gosh, I wish LeBron could just get a couple guys. He seems like a decent person. He seems like a class act himself, and I'm pulling for LeBron. And then through the summer until right now, he goes to the villain role. Everyone's most hated owner, maybe in all of sports, now that Steinbrenner's dead, maybe in all of sports, Mark Cuban. He might be more hated than Jerry Jones, okay? And that guy now, he's done a 180, and he's now everyone's pal. He's Mr. Cuddly Mark Cuban, the funny, wacky, zany owner.
Who doesn't love Mark Cuban?
I always did, but a lot of people don't. Oh, Pepper, if you only knew the unpredictability of the sports.
I guess we do because we're talking about it right now.
Here's the guy who took a page right out of Pepper's little playbook, if you will.
It's a hell of a playbook, too.
Deshaun Stevenson. Who's that? I'm going to give a Davey Mac Sports Program quiz.
Bowler?
He's not a bowler. Pepper.
Fifth member of Fish?
And Roy, he's not related to, who's your guy again? McNeil? Freeman McNeil. That's the one athlete Roy knows. No, he is a member of the Dallas Mavericks.
What?
Yeah, he just
Since
won
when?
the championship.
Since when?
Since the whole season. Actually was the starting shooting guard. But they sat him down to play J.J. Barea, the little tiny, Puerto Rican point guard. Moved J. Kidd basically over to another point guard / shooting guard position. Deshaun Stevenson, he was arrested for public intoxication on Tuesday night.
It's fine.
Well,
2 days after the Mavericks won the championship.
Keep it going.
yeah, seriously.
He was found wandering outside the Grand Venetian apartment complex in Irving, Texas. He doesn't live there, and
He had to meet someone in there. That's all.
oh
Pick
yeah,
something up.
yeah, I know what he had to meet. Yep, I'm sure he had to meet someone. He
Still
had
drunk.
Little package,
Little bender.
You just keep it going, but you can't keep boozing it. So maybe you need some powder. Well, the cops saw him.
Bet your ass.
And they questioned him. It's pretty hard to not realize who he was, being that he has what appeared to me as a giant Abraham Lincoln tattoo on his throat. So you would think this is one of the more standout guys. I'm sure the cops kind of knew him, but they said he was, in fact, so drunk and so disoriented, they couldn't leave him by himself
I've
because
been
they were
there.
asking him, okay, well, do you know where you are? And he just
No.
simply said, I have no idea. I don't know.
Great. Good for him.
So he got arrested. Now, if this happened to any member of the Miami Heat, we would just be destroying them.
Yeah, obviously.
And now that it's a Maverick, America's
Carte blanche.
sweethearts, it's simply, that's so silly. This guy was wandering
Look
outside
at him. Look at him.
an apartment.
Good for him.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Oh, that Deshaun.
To keep it with the NBA for a second, Ricky Rubio. This is the guy who is from Spain and has what people feel is a sort of a Pistol Pete Havlicek, Jesus. Pistol Pete Maravich type of game where, flashy guy, fun ball handler, can hit some razzle-dazzle shots, if you will. That's right, razzle-dazzle shots. I'll say it.
Bring it back.
So he was drafted 2 years ago by the Minnesota Timberwolves, and big surprise, he didn't want to leave Barcelona for Minnesota. He's been holding out in Spain. The original report was that
blame him.
he's going to start his NBA career next year, and then he just quickly backed off and said, No. Listen, we're contacting the T-Wolves. My agent's contacting them, and we'll see what happens. So what I feel is going on is the agent is contacting the T-Wolves saying, we'll do anything. Ricky Rubio cannot play in Minnesota.
he
That's
doesn't.
Garrison Keillor country.
He shouldn't have to.
This guy not only will go from being a superstar in Spain, but beautiful women, and women and weather and everything,
Spain. Come on.
to... Not saying that people aren't nice looking in Minnesota, but
they're
how
not.
can they? And the team isn't even good. If the team was good, Ricky Rubio might be saying, you know what? I'll go over. I'll give Minnesota a try. What the heck? But it's a team that's really on in a downslope right now, and I can't particularly blame him. Moreover, I don't understand why the T-Wolves drafted him in the first place when he clearly was like, listen, I want to go to a hot, warm place. I'll tell you what you do is you get rid of Mike Bibby, who did absolutely nothing in the NBA Finals, and maybe the Miami Heat can pick up Ricky Rubio. Now we're talking.
Yeah, he'll go.
I also wanted to bring this other point up because with the Heat, and then we'll move on. The thing was, there's so much now heat, no pun intended, on Pat Riley, who put together the team, that they're saying maybe Riley succumbs to some of this pressure, and in the offseason he deals either LeBron or D-Wade. He's keeping Bosh because Bosh doesn't play the same the way those two. Those two guys are basically the same player. So he's going to trade either D-Wade, possibly, or LeBron. Maybe bring in a big man, maybe a Dwight Howard type of scenario, which would be that team would probably be stronger than the Heat team we saw this year. My question is, who would you trade? Pepper Stanley?
Dump Wade.
Dump Wade. Why?
Because you've already invested in LeBron and might as well stick it
They're
out.
they're getting paid the same amount of money.
All
three of them, him, Bosh, and LeBron, Bosh, and D-Wade, all $17 million.
You're gonna have to break up the best friends club.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Trade off
under the
Wade.
scenario, one of them is going to.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, Wade. Get rid of Wade. Yeah,
because of why? They're paying LeBron the same amount of money.
I know, but they just got LeBron. They're gonna have to.
I'm saying they
invest
just
in him.
re-signed Dwayne Wade.
Yes, I know. I understand. Everything
Their
you're saying.
contracts are identical. In
Yes,
other
I
words.
know.
Okay, so then why? If their contracts are identical, it's not like you're going to be losing money or anything.
He's an older dude.
He's older. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's inspired
So you
soon.
would get rid of Dwayne Wade too, Sean O.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the fact that Dwayne Wade has the ring?
Doesn't matter.
He has a championship. And let's face it, when things got down to crunch time, except for the last game when
it was all fell
listen,
apart.
every member of the Heat knew this thing was over by the fourth quarter. They knew they couldn't stop the Mavericks defensively, so they just kind of said, you know what, this isn't going to happen. But Dwayne Wade played the better NBA Finals by far over LeBron. If the Heat win that series, Dwayne Wade's the NBA Finals MVP. So I think it's a little risky for you numbskulls to say trade the guy.
I don't appreciate being called
who has.
numbskull.
Well, here's the
I don't
answer.
mind it.
Here's the answer. You're both right.
Thank you.
Bam.
LeBron is, as we pointed out, 3 or 4 years younger. You have to roll the dice. You have to say, you know what? If we can get Dwight Howard for Dwayne Wade, that puts LeBron back in the driver's seat. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, it stops making it the Miami or Dwayne Wade presents the Miami Heat. Because that's what it's gone to.
That's his team.
LeBron, as long as Dwayne Wade is there, it's going to be Dwayne Wade's team. No matter what happens, no matter if LeBron scores 3 50-point games in a row during the regular season at some point, people are still going to be
happen.
I am
That
saying
prediction?
it. Put it in the bank. Put it in the bank. And this time, people,
Take it to the casino.
don't not put it in the bank,
Next season,
which is a double negative. Okay? So I asked these 3 guys, I asked them, I said, Davey Mack's had a very tough week. Dave Mack could talk about the NBA Finals till he's blue in the face. But would you mind maybe giving me some sports topics of your own? I never asked this of these 2 gentlemen. Roy, I don't need to ask. Roy always has Freeman McNeil in his back pocket, which one day
right.
is going to be gold.
It's going to be huge.
Okay? And we might have to go to it this week. I was hoping that, the dog days of baseball in the August, where there's not a ton going on, we would be able to bring out the Freeman McNeil.
Well, what about Jeter? Just he's going on disabled list and possibly career-ending injury.
I did see that. Career-ending
Whoa.
injury.
Whoa.
It's a calf strain.
Easy.
And he never makes it to 3,000.
So he doesn't he retires 6 hits shy.
Yeah, that's what's going to
Well,
happen.
you know what? You laugh, but now back in the late 30s, I'm sure no one realized the being in the 500 home run club would have been a big deal. Basically, because it probably at that point only Babe Ruth was in there. But what a lot of people don't know is that Lou Gehrig had to leave baseball with 490 home runs. 10 home runs shy of being in the 500 home run club. 10 home runs shy. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that?
He
that's
also
the
died
thing?
of a terrible disease. I think that's
Oh
probably
my
the worst
God.
thing.
He might have, can actually look that up. Look up his career home run thing.
He's got 23 Grand
He-
Slams,
he-
most in MLB.
He's a Grand Slam guy. You know, Teixeira's high up on that list.
Well, A-Rod's about to cross it. He's got 22.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I think Manny has a ton of Grand Slams. How many home runs lifetime does Lou Gehrig have? Because I'm almost positive it was 490. But now part of me is thinking 493.
493.
Okay.
There you go.
I was going to call
Oh.
myself
There
out.
you go.
Here's why I'm thinking. I was thinking 90. Because how many RBIs? I'm thinking 1,990.
95.
1,995 RBIs?
Way off.
He is. No, but think about this. So he's 500. A lot of people don't talk about how much of a prestigious club 2,000 RBIs is. It's an incredible select amount of people. It's probably more impressive than 3,000 hits. Getting 2,000 RBIs, well, just break it down. It means you had to have 20 years in the big leagues where you averaged 100 RBIs a year. Think about that.
There's only 3 guys with
20
over 2,000.
What? You're seeing what I'm talking about. Why do we not make the bigger deal about this RBI club? Davey Mack just gave you a little bit of an insight here. Now impress your friends and family by saying, you know something I just learned in Davey Mack's sports program? The 2000 RBI club is mega exclusive. Gehrig, according to Pepper, 5 RBIs from getting to that club, 7 home runs from being in the 500 home run club. This would have made, we always talk about Ruth, and we have to, and then you get the Ted Williams, Teddy Ballgame, as the best hitters of all time. Now, you look at Gehrig's average, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, it's about 345, right, Pep? What's Gehrig's average?
Hold on.
Because I'm thinking that Williams is
340.
340 is Gehrig?
Yeah.
And what's Ted Williams now? See, this is what we're talking about here, folks. Because this poor Lou Gehrig, the only thing that everyone knows about him is, oh boy, some terrible disease. No one talks about him as a ball player. He was nearly as good as Ruth. I mean, he wasn't as good as Ruth, but
Gehrig was, Williams was 344.
344. Now you look at that and you say, boy, Lou was not far off from some of these stats that Williams put up. Now, Ted Williams did lose a lot of his time and career to
Women.
if those women were in Korea and the
some of them
Pacific,
were.
where he went to 2 different wars,
Yeah, they were.
then okay, well then Sean O has a crazy Fast Freddy scoop that none of us were familiar with. But that's just something to think about. The next time someone says, "Oh man, my dad has Lou Gehrig's disease," that's a time to bring up. He's a pretty underrated hitter in the grander scheme of things.
Who, my dad?
No, Lou Gehrig.
Oh.
Just say that to him. And then if the kid refrains from punching you in the mouth, then give him the litany of stats that we just gave you. You're going to impress everyone. Or just take this to the bar. Maybe the bartender has Lou Gehrig's disease. I don't know.
I don't think he'd be serving drinks if he had that.
Okay. That's what you say. Many people are living with their diseases.
Not well.
Not these
anyway.
people.
Look at Magic. Now,
He doesn't know.
It's tough to get that bottle cap off.
so back to Pepper's thing. Derek Jeter
Career-ending injury.
on the DL with a calf strain. Now, he at the point in the ball game was 1 for 3, 6 hits away from 3,000. He would have had 2 home games left, okay, for 6 hits. And, the way Jeter's hit this year, it would be hard to believe he would have gotten 6 hits in those 2 games. You figure he's getting up 4 times a game. So, is Jeter going 6 for 8? Probably not. Even if we say he gets up, it's a blowout, he gets up 5 times, you're still saying Jeter would have gotten 6 hits out of his next 10 at-bats. The Yankees did the math.
Yeah, it's tough.
Thus, the conspiracy theory that he's not that hurt, but they put him on the 15-day DL so that he can
does
break
it
it
at
at home. The whole thing is that everyone wants Jeter to break the 3,000, to get the 3,000 hits at home. Should he have gotten a few hits here, a couple hits there, then he's on the road, and it would have been...
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know,
Was he taking his cap off?
it
too,
would have
on the
been
road?
it would have been Cubs probably.
Yeah.
He probably would have gotten 3,000 against Chicago Cubs. Not the worst venue,
Yeah,
Wrigley
true.
No,
Field,
not at all.
Sure, it's
great
pretty cool.
ballpark. I don't know. I think that would have been a fun little factoid. Because another factoid is no one's ever gotten 3,000 hits. Their 3,000th hit on in interleague matchup. That's never happened yet. No, but not a lot of guys have gotten 3,000 hits since interleague. You know, I mean, I'm sure Gwynn got his 3,000th when interleague was playing. Obviously, Boggs did. You know, a few others. But just think
Bernie Mac.
about that. So I'm not sure if I buy into the conspiracy theory, or I wouldn't have if little evil Brian Cashman, a.k.a. Senator Palpatine, was now in charge of the Yankees and seems like he's in charge of everything with the Yankees.
He controls it all.
From what's going on with the minor leagues to all kind of trades and free agencies to how he wants certain guys,
After Torrey left and
that was Brian saying
and
it's mine.
George dying, it's
It's
he's
just
the only
his, and
one
he
left.
could not be happier. He just inherited the New York Yankees because the Suns, God bless them, they have big wallets, and I think the Suns are going to be willing to spend some cash.
They're gonna listen to him.
But the Suns,
They'll listen to anything he says.
because it's weird because the Suns have some good traits that the boss Steinbrenner, George didn't have that I kind of like, which is George sometimes did not know about baseball
Obviously.
and thought he did. Well, George made a good move every so often. He wanted Darryl when Darryl Strawberry's career looked like it was over,
Oh, yeah.
and Darryl was a good Yankee.
No,
he was
yeah,
on
I
some
know.
championship teams.
Yeah.
And he wanted the same thing with Doc Gooden. And George Steinbrenner knew, well, Doc can perform in New York, so let's get Doc over here. All that happens is Doc throws a no-hitter for the Yankees, helps him win in '96. So he knew some things, but overall, he probably didn't know the sport as well as he thought he did. The Suns at least know we don't really know the game at all.
We like cigarettes.
So we're just going to give it to Brian Cashman. And there's Brian Cashman just sniveling with his, Derek, you have to sit out so you can break it at home. And you think Derek really, I'm sure a big part of him wants to break it at home, but it's not the end all be all. Derek
doesn't
wants it
care.
out of the way.
yeah, he just wants to get it over.
Move on.
It took him a while to beat Gehrig's record too. That was kind of like a big countdown that was taking a long time for him
For
to beat.
all-time hits leader
for
as a New York
Yankees,
Yankee.
yeah.
Yeah, it did. It happens to everybody. Everyone, when they cross these baseball milestones, they get into a little bit of a slump. Actually, Jeter's hit pretty decently, and that game, he was 1 for 3, he hit another ball well. I feel bad for him, but I do buy into the conspiracy theory. I do. Yeah. Listen, you heard me speak. You heard me do what I do.
Whoa.
Hey, Dennis Miller?
What I do
Mr.
is
Miller.
talk to you about the sports, and I do it well. And I might speak into an old-timey microphone. Well, you know what? Big deal! I'm Davey Mack. This has been the Davey Mack Sports Program. Eastside Dave McDonald, Chris Pepper Stanley,
Bye.
Sean O,
Sean O.
Roy. And we're here, and we've delivered another A-grade sports show that's bound to make you rip your ears off. That doesn't sound like
No,
a
it's
good
not-
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, listen, folks, that's the end. Good night, everybody.